Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, don't give up, give up. Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, don't give up.
Greetings, Redheads. Thank you for joining me in another episode of your favorite show, Red's View. I am your gracious host, Jay Red, and I have a very, very special guest with me today. He goes by the name of Midwest Matthew from Iowa. What's happening, man?
Yo, what up? What up? Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. I reached out to Red, or you want to go by J Red, or
You call me Red, J Red, it don't matter.
I reached out to him on Instagram. You know, I seen some of his stuff, so yeah, I'm real gracious that he let me come on the show.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for reaching out to me, man. And any other artists, anybody else who wants to get on Red's View, I tell you all the time, just hit me up in the DM and we can get that thing set up. But yeah, man. So before we begin, make sure that you subscribe to youtube.com/WeAuthenticNetwork. And you can see my homie right there. You see that shirt he got on. You see it.
Yes, you see it.
Yes,
Red's View.
Red's View.
Go subscribe.
Go to Red'sView.com and get that shirt. So let's go ahead and dive right in, man. Midwest Matthew. So you're a hip hop artist / you blend a little R&B in there, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I like to keep the styles a little bit different. So you'll hear me I've done some country stuff before, so I'll do a little bit of everything. But mainly it's rap and hip hop though.
Yeah, definitely, man. You're talented, you're skilled. Definitely what I call an MC. And you come from how do you say Des Moines? Des Moines?
Yeah, they say Des Moines. So it's almost like DUHMOINE, you know? So Des Moines, the S is silent.
Yeah, Des Moines, Iowa, man. I just got to ask, man, like, what's the rap scene like in Iowa? Because, you know, historically, we haven't really heard any rappers come from Iowa. But I'm sure, like, hip hop is global, so quite sure y'all got a rap scene, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna start with the famous people so that you can kind of get an idea, because there's only like 5 really, but you know what I'm saying? But people want to hear about who's famous or whatever. So you've heard Ludacris's What's Your Fantasy, right?
Right, definitely.
The guy that made that beat, he also made Mamili for Lil Wayne. He's from Des Moines.
What's his name? That's not Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. Yep. He's from Des Moines.
Didn't know that.
TLC. I want to say T-Boz. T-Boz or Chili. One of them are from Iowa. I think Des Moines. It might not be Des Moines though. That about wraps it up for Iowa. So you got 2 people. But I mean, the rap scene, like local rap scene, is pretty cool. Like over the years, I moved to California for a little bit. I've been doing rap since, I've been doing music for a long time. And I started out like way back on MySpace. And what I do is I would reach out to people in other cities, you know? So even though I was here, I'd always like try to reach out to people. Like if I had a name drop or whatever, or talk about some bigger people. And what I think a lot of people that live here, they do, they might be more on the back end or like behind the scenes. So when Odd Future, when they were first coming up, I remember I had, I used to send beats to Haji Beats, who used to be in Odd Future before they blew up, but he's not in there anymore. But I also had Left Brain, if you know Left Brain. I had him rap on one of my beats before, and this is back in MySpace. So I just used to post my stuff, reach out to people in Cali, Chicago, and all that type of stuff. And that's how I would kind of try to network and make a name for myself. Mm. And I even saw like the formation of what they used to be called Matt Martians and all them. They ended up becoming the Internet. Brandon Deshay from Chicago, he gave beats to Dom Kennedy, worked on some of his projects, worked with Tyler, the Creator. So, you know, it's all like networking with the whole nation, you know what I'm saying? Just over the internet. As far as the local scene, we have a lot of different artists. You know, just like any other city, we have a lot of local artists, especially in Des Moines, like Iowa. A lot of Iowa's, you know, Caucasian, and there's a lot of rural area here too. So out in the other cities, maybe not so much, but in Des Moines, which is the capital, there's a lot of artists, I would say. And, you know, they put out projects and, you know, there's a lot of dope people around here.
Yeah, word, man. Yeah, like I'm just appreciative of someone from Iowa reaching out, you know what I'm saying, to get on.
Yeah.
I was very excited about doing this interview. So being from Iowa, who are your hip hop influences as far as like, because I know that's the Midwest. So were you inspired by Midwest, West, South, East? Who inspired you?
Right. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I really like the South because my brother, my sister, and my mom were all from Georgia. So we have a lot of family that's in Georgia. So the people that I would listen to growing up, well, the people I really liked the most was Outkast. That was one of my favorite bands, or I mean, favorite groups. But my sister, my brother, they kind of influenced me to the point where I focused more on like the beats. So we really like Timbaland, Missy, Genuine. Genuine was also one of my favorites growing up. He was like one of my main favorites. Then he went to Outkast, but Aaliyah, that whole little group, you know. And then next was Pharrell. When he came out, and the Neptunes, they came out with their production. So we started looking at that. So it was always about the beat with us. And those beat makers, even Timbaland and Pharrell, those are from Virginia. You know, then you look at Outkast from Georgia. So I'd say mainly the South is what I would listen to. But I mean, I like all types of music. And I was born actually in Michigan, moved to Missouri. Then I moved here to Iowa. And when I moved, well, prior to me moving to Iowa, all I listened to was like oldies because my parents, you know, they listen to like Motown, you know, that type of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I would listen to rap and hip hop and R&B and whatnot, you know, just like everybody does. But the culture shock with coming to Iowa, like I said, it's a lot of Caucasian people. So then I started to find out about, you know, rock music, more techno, house music. A lot of EDM is kind of big here. So I found out a lot about like different types of music, which helped me because I started off making beats. So it kind of broadened my scope.
Yeah. So to pick up where you left off, you started making beats. Did you start making beats originally before you started rapping?
Yeah, the beats was the first thing I started real organically. So what I mean by that is how I even got started into music. My brother, he does music too. Shout out Architect. But he makes beats. He does he does music too. He writes, he produces for people. And when I was younger, I used to hear him beatboxing, and I actually learned how to beatbox from him. So I'm like, you know, 5, 6, and I beatbox. And then growing up, I just always would beatbox and I would make beats like, you know, just with my mouth and whatnot. And then I learned, you know, I would hum, you know, the different beats and whatnot. And so that kind of formed it to me making music because it was like, it trained my vocal cords from the humming. All I had to do was open my mouth and start to say words. And now I was on key and, you know, I kind of knew the beat patterns and stuff. And then I start to write and, you know, I'm a poetic person. So I would just write and I started writing songs versus poetry and everything just changed from there.
And I think it's so dope that it's so incredible to me that someone can make beats, you know what I'm saying? Make those beats, make the production, and then you can rap over them. You know what I'm saying? Because those are two separate skills. You know what I'm saying? Like most of the producers out here, they can't write a song or they can't write a rap. But people like you are able to balance both of them. And like Kanye West, Pharrell, you know, so how do you think it's hard to do that, or does it come natural because you make the beat, you know how it sounds?
Yeah, I would say I still have a lot of songs that I made the beat for, and then I wrote the song as well and performed it and whatnot. My issue was I'm still not there as far as like I know what I want it to sound like, but it's just not quite there. Like I wanted to get mixed and mastered a little bit better. So one of my first official album, I made all the beats and I put it out. I wrote all the songs and it was dope. But at the same time, it wasn't to the level that I would want it. You know, it was kind of like a rough mix. So I took that down and then I just, for me to be efficient, I'm like, I'm not about to, you know, spend 2 years trying to perfect this little thing when I could just rap over beats. Cause I mean, that's not really anything too difficult for me, or writing songs, I should say. So that's when I just started buying more beats from other producers and I would just get them off YouTube. And a lot of times their beats would inspire me to write a song. So I'd hear certain chords and stuff and then that'd take my imagination to a certain place. And then that's when I would write, you know, whatever. And just put out my songs like that. But I plan, you know, as I grow as an artist and bring in more money, I should say, and whatnot, and make bigger, better connections, And that's when I would start to put out more of my stuff, as far as beats, my beats that I produce, plus my lyrics and whatnot. Because right now I just feel like it's just difficult to get it to that professional radio level, at least on my own.
Yeah.
Other people might be able to do it, but not me, not yet.
Got you. But yeah, man, your sound is definitely developing. I hear different influences in there. I remember we talked about it, like you were talking about how, you got like a Kendrick Lamar blend and stuff like that. And I definitely hear it, some of it in the project, which we're going to dive into right now. And the new project that you have out, is it available now or?
Yeah, so this project, in the past, I would put it out like through my distributor. I would just put it out to all the stores, to Spotify and all that. But at the same time, like I told you, it's kind of simple for me to like rap and make songs like just one after the other. And those albums, though I feel like they're dope, I don't feel like they were as dope as this project. So once I put out this project, it just felt like a complete, like it was just like an official project or whatever. So I was like, yeah, I can't put it out to Spotify and all them where they pay you 0.001
cents, right? 0.0.
Yeah, per stream. And it's like, I even saw the numbers on it. You get like 140,000 streams or something, and you get paid like, what would that be, 1,400 or something like that, something crazy like that. And it's like, if I'm getting that many streams, I'd rather charge each person at least $1, or something. So long story short, I got it out on iTunes. I got it out on the Amazon store for purchase as a full album. Well, part 1 and part 2, I broke it down on there. Then I'm just connecting directly with the people. I've been putting out promos, trying to direct people to my Cash App so they can pay me directly for the album. And then I'll just send them a link, because I feel like that's more of an organic thing too.
Yeah, man. Artists, aspiring artists, listen to this particular model, because when you release your music like that, you're able to get all the money, you know what I'm saying? Instead of we having to share through a distributor, which, promotion wise, it would make sense, but straight to the consumer for you to reap the benefits, that's definitely good. So with that, because I want to go in on that a little bit later, but are you dog on Sirius?
Right.
The name of the latest project that you have out now. Are you dog on Sirius?
You're the first person I've heard say that back to me out loud. So it sounded dope when you said it. I'm like, okay.
I had to look at it first, because the way you put Sirius, it's the SIRRIUS or SIRIUS. It's not like Sirius, but give me the details behind that title.
All right, cool. So the reason that I like you saying that so much is because what they talk about, like, I'm not really too much in religion and stuff, but there are some sayings, whether you live in New York. What city or what state are you in again?
I'm in Georgia.
Oh, you're in Georgia. Okay. Yeah, I got a lot of family out there, especially in Athens. But so when you look at like places like New York, when you have the 5%ers, or you got all these different people, a lot of times what they'll say is, I might misquote this a little bit, but long story short, they got like 85% of the people they say are deaf, dumb, and blind, I believe, or pretty much I'll just say they're ignorant of knowledge, right? They don't know everything. You could think of like the movie The Matrix. A lot of the people that they were encountering in The Matrix, they were going about their daily lives or whatever. Then Neo got out the Matrix. So that's kind of an analogy to go back to what they're saying. There's also 5% of the people that know information, and that are so-called conscious, or what they might call woke nowadays. And then there's 10% of the people that know the information, but they won't teach the other people. So those are like maybe the rich people, the politicians, possibly the politicians, but whoever, it might be people in churches or whatever. They might know expounded information, but they don't share it with the people in order to keep them part of the 85% that don't know anything.
Right.
So when you ask me about the title, Are You Doggone Serious? So I would consider myself more on the conscious side, because even in my music, I used to make like regular, everyday raps and whatever, stuff that you hear nowadays. But I went more to the conscious side because as I started to learn more about just history and everything like that, I was like, well, I mean, the other stuff is easy. Like I want to incorporate more knowledge and stuff. And that's just kind of how I feel inside. Like when I'm writing, if it's not something that I feel is kind of like, okay, that's kind of dope. I like the wordplay right here. Then it's just kind of too simple for me,
Right.
So when I say, are you doggone serious? There's a tribe in whether, I don't know if you've heard about this or anybody's heard about this, and I do talk about it on the first song, the intro of my album. There's a tribe in Africa called the Dogon people, Dogon.
Mm-hmm.
And have you seen did you see Beyonce's new Black King, something like that?
Yeah, Black is King. Yeah, I haven't got a chance to look at it yet, but no.
Okay. Well, when you see that, I didn't watch it either, but I do know that I saw a picture and they had these, because she kind of went on the conscious side too. But the thing is, the way I do it is more direct. I try to give the information to the people. Even on my Instagram, I just put out different information that people can learn something from or whatever. And I think she put information into that project that she put out, or that production that she put out. Because I heard that she even got help from like the so-called conscious or woke community to do so. But it just wasn't direct. So if you don't know what she's talking about, or she doesn't explain the context, then it's really not, you're not really, that almost puts her in part of the 10%, but you're not explaining to the people. So in that, there's this figure where it's like, it almost looks like it's like two legs and it goes to the middle. It's a line, and then it's two arms that go up. That symbol, you can look this up or whatever, but that's what the Dogon people would use as like their face mask in Africa when they would do their ritual, like every so often, like every 20 years or every 10 years, or however often they would do it.
Mm-hmm.
So she actually had some stuff from the Dogon people in her thing, is what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dogon, what the importance of them is that they knew about a place called Sirius. Now I spelled it incorrectly on purpose on my album because I didn't want people to be like, I don't know if it's some type of copyright or something. So that's why I didn't spell it Dogon. I put D-O-G, and then a space, then O-N, and Sirius with two R's, So the Dogon people, they knew about a place called Sirius B, which is like one of the brightest stars in the solar system. Mm-hmm. Before we could actually see it with telescopes. They knew the orbit. They knew all this stuff about that star in that place. It was like Sirius A, Sirius B, and I believe Sirius C. And I believe they said there might be a Sirius D. They explained the creation story that they said was handed down through their people, that said that all life started in Sirius, and then we came to planet Earth. And I know this might sound kind of crazy or whatever, but I'm saying you can look it up. Yeah. This is just their story, and it could have been a metaphor, whatever. But I'm just saying this is their story. Mm-hmm. And even if you don't believe in the creation part, they knew about a whole solar system or planet orbit before scientists had the ability to even see that, so there was some truth to what they were saying. Mm-hmm. Now that was probably like early 1900s. It wasn't until like 1950, 1960 that they had they created a telescope to where they can confirm that. And then that's where they saw that, okay, they were right on with what they were saying. So that's why I put, are you doggone serious? Because it's just a play on words, like I say, it's like I like the wordplay. Mm-hmm. So Sirius, that's the star. So I just named it, are you doggone serious? Because it's kind of like conscious, but it's wordplay. And then it's kind of like how I talk on the album too, because I got stuff where you may not know what I'm talking about, but it has like a conscious meaning to it or some type of background. Whereas like if you know, then you know about it and it'll make sense once you hear it.
Dope. Yeah. Thanks for that explanation. Redheads, I hope y'all caught all of that. What I can say is that when you hear the album, the intro is 24 minutes long. So, I like that because it's unique, it's different, and it gave you a lot of time just to talk. You were just like, look, this is some, I know intros are really short or whatever, but this is long. Y'all come back, y'all can fuck with it later, but I can't start the album out without, talking about this. I want to get into a couple of facts that stood out to me. Monsters really stuck out to me because it talked about Pizzagate, child trafficking during the Super Bowl, and the lyric that stuck out, and I'm paraphrasing, but you said, while we hit the Dougie and hit the Heisman, they do the Pizzagate, all that. So expound on that, the Monster song.
Man, the Monster song. Now, That's a crazy song. So if you've heard about like Pizzagate, you could go look up Pizzagate. Whether or not you believe in it or whatever, I'm talking about current events that people have been talking about. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of, I would say there's a lot of things that could support the notion that there's a lot of pedophiles in like the political culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? In politics, there's a lot of pedophiles. There's a lot of pedophiles in Hollywood and all that type of stuff. There's sex rings, sex trafficking, you know? And so the song Monsters is essentially about that. So he touched on the part about the Super Bowl. From what I've heard, one of the highest rates of child, one of the times of the year where there's the most sex trafficking reported is during the Super Bowl, because there's so many people that are going in and out, or that are traveling, I should say. And so I guess it was easier to move them. Now you can fact check that, but at the end of the day, this is also what I want to say, because I know there's a lot of people that like to just be, because I'll post stuff on Instagram and they'll get in the comments like, no, actually, those type of people. Right. So my whole thing is I like to put that information out there, because if you're going to be one of those, well, no, actually type people, then that means at least you're looking up the information and now right, specifics about it. So maybe my bar is a little bit incorrect as far as like the statistic or something, but you get the point, you know what I'm saying? And I put it into a way that you can kind of, dance to. So, so I say, while we hit the Dougie, they hit the Heisman, put them on boats or private planes to fly them. So it talks about sex trafficking being the highest during the Super Bowl. So we're hitting the Dougie, we're in the club, going to the club or whatever during the Super Bowl time, having parties and whatnot, hitting the Dougie. People, the football players hitting the Heisman, having fun. We watching that, but then at the same time, on the flip side, they're having an underground sex ring and, sex workers and doing all this type of stuff. And that's what I was talking about on that one. So I called it Monsters, and I kind of just touched on all of that. And if you know about Pizzagate and you've looked it up, then that song, you should be able to rock with it. And
I did. I really did like it. I like the way that you had the metaphors with, the pasta and all that. Really doing that. That was fly. Another track that stood out to me was What Would Matthew Do?
Right.
What is it? What would Matthew do? WWMD? Is that what it is?
Yeah. These are the tracks that would be kind of controversial. I like it.
Yeah, definitely.
If I had a big name, people would be like, "Oh man, did you see what?" You know what I'm saying? But they'll catch on eventually. So.
Definitely. But in that song, you said, "I refuse to praise Jesus. I refuse to praise Jesus." I got exactly where you're coming from. I know with the millennials now, we go away from tradition and what. Sorry for that. It's the motorcycle outside my house, but we go away from the traditional aspect of religion and all that other stuff. And I think a lot of us are leaning more towards spirituality. So that song stood out to me because you not only you named it what I didn't know what that meant until I heard and then you said what would Matthew do? Yeah, that was creative. It pissed off a lot of Christians and stuff like that. But I wanted him to touch on that. So just expound on that.
Okay, so that one, you said you just wanted me to expound on the song as a whole, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I talk, and that's part of the reason that I did that lecture in the beginning, which I feel like is super dope because I listen to a lot of conscious lectures and whatnot. You could look at like Saneter TV, SANETER TV, but of course, subscribe to Red.
Yeah, that's right.
View, that's first and foremost. But after you subscribe and you check this out and you check out his other episodes and whatnot, then you can check out Saneter TV, SANETER TV, if you ever want to get like conscious information or something like that, or get an example of the type of thing I'm talking about when I say I listen to like lectures. So I listen to like some lectures that'll be like 2 hours long, 3 hours long, and whatnot. So what I did on the beginning of my album was really, I never seen that before. And it was just an idea I came up with. I'm like, I got to put this in context because if I just put the songs on there and it says, I refuse to praise Jesus, they won't know what I'm talking about. And I can't put it at the beginning of the song because then they won't listen, you know? So I was like, I'm gonna just talk about everything at once in the beginning. And I thought that was super dope to put at the beginning of an album. And what I explained was the more I learned, because I was raised Christian, just like I think a lot of the Black community is raised Christian or in the church somehow, usually, whether that be Christian, Muslim, or Catholic. Catholic is probably a smaller percentage, but long story short, you know, we're taught that Jesus exists. We're taught that who is it? I can't think of the Islamic one, but anyway, we're taught that these people exist. Me growing up, I started to find out. I would see different stuff like which they would call like law of attraction, and so I would so maybe you've had this experience where you think of somebody, and then they call your phone, or you stuff like that. So then it started making me think, and I was always fascinated with like the mind and the power of the mind and whatnot. And so growing up, when I would see this type of stuff, I would think of like, well, what does that mean? And how was that connected? And then I would also learn about, actually, ironically, Tommy Davidson, the comedian, he was one of the first people that I saw talk about like Black history when he was talking about the Moors and stuff like that. And so I started looking into history. I started looking into metaphysics, which is like the mind power and whatnot. And after I looked into both of those, I started to see, I was still believing in kind of Jesus, you know, because I didn't know anything different. And it wasn't until about like, I'd say almost like a year ago when I officially was like, okay, now I understand. I saw like some lectures about them breaking down the Bible. And they were breaking down, well, you know, and it could all be left up to interpretation. That's what a lot of people say. They're like, oh, well, that's that person's interpretation. That's not right. Jesus did exist. That's fine. You could believe that. But for me, I'm like, nah, I'm not believing. At this moment in time, when I made this album, I'm not believing in Jesus. So until otherwise proven, you know, that's what it is. So I was like, yeah, Jesus doesn't exist because they broke it down in the Bible, how it was like different energies in you, you know? So like Eve, they say was part of your brain. Adam and Eve was like two sides. I've heard a couple different interpretations. One was like there's the right and left hemisphere of your brain. And then the tree of good and evil is it's your pineal gland, and then it's like your spine has you have different chakras, and as you unlock those different chakras through meditation and this kind of going within and whatnot, then you actually reach Christ consciousness, which is why they say Jesus died. Well, some people connect the Jesus dying at 33 to 33 different vertebrae in your back. So this is like so many different codes and whatnot. And they were saying that this was left over. Even the story is reflected from ancient Egypt stories, or stories in ancient Egypt, I should say. Mm-hmm. And so those stories just get changed. And then they said there's other stories that are just the same, but they're like, it's just different fables, you know, but they all kind of have the same thing. And the reason that Christianity was good, from what I've heard, is that it preserved our old knowledge and it wasn't lost like during slavery. Mm-hmm. So it's good that we knew about Jesus and stuff, but it would have to get decoded so we knew like the true knowledge. You know what I mean? So that's why I say I refuse to praise Jesus, because also, from what I understand, even the Nation of Islam, I believe they teach that you are God, or you're a reflection of God, and so you have God-like. You can become more God-like, I should say. So anything that you're in, I should say this though also. So even the belief in Jesus, I believe also has its benefits, because have you seen the movie Space Jam? I'll give a good analogy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So the perfect analogy, because they put this in movies and stuff a lot. And so as I became more knowledgeable, I started to see that a lot of the movies I've been seeing have like hidden knowledge, just the same as like what they're talking about with the Bible. And so when on Space Jam, there's a part of the movie I remember where they were like super tired or whatever. One of the teams that like the Looney Tune team or whatever, they're super tired and they needed a drink.
The drink,
right.
Michael Jordan's juice, or his drink, a special drink or something like that. Yeah.
Right. And then they got like super buff, right?
Right.
And then they started beating the other team, but then they lost the power because the juice, like they sweated it out or whatever.
Mhm.
And they went back to the locker room, and then they looked behind the curtain or something like that. And then it was like water on the bottle, right? It said
Mhm.
water, I believe. So it
Yeah.
was just water. So that was showing that because they deified the water or the juice, the water or whatever, they thought it was like something special, just like a placebo effect. They were able to utilize their max potential. That's what
Right.
I'm trying to say. So just the same when we believe in Jesus and we're like, oh, Jesus, please protect me. Now, if you don't know anything different, that's what I'm saying. I think it still could be utilized because you believe in this figure so much that it's almost like an imaginary friend. Because even if it wasn't Jesus, let's say you believed in Michael Jordan so much, you're like, Michael Jordan, please give me enough money for my rent this month. You might get that money and you think Michael Jordan did it, but it's not Michael Jordan. It was just you using your own power, and you externalize it, and that belief made it possible. So when I say I refuse to believe in Jesus, I start believing in myself and my own power. And so I could just say, Matthew, let me, Matthew protect me, or whatever. And that's just kind of how I came up with that. And that's kind of where I'm at with my whole consciousness.
Got you. It's so many other tracks. There's a few other ones that I was digging. But
I know it's a long album. It's 24
yeah,
songs, so it's like
I was like, oh man, like it felt like a double disc from like the 90s. But what's your favorite song personally on the album? Out of the 24 songs that you got, what is your personal favorite?
My favorite one is gonna be Black Pill Rabbit Hole, which it sounds funny. It sounds kind of weird, but
that's the song officially that opens the album.
Right. Yep. That's the first one. And I just thought that was such a dope song the way I wrote it. And the name I came with like way at the end, but you had the blue pill, you had the red pill and the matrix.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to incorporate that also with the conscious information and the way the song is written with so many different, like, it's not a regular like I think they call it a stanza, whereas I just won't do it. But I was gonna ask about cussing, but so I do the dun 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 dun. That's how a lot of people started rapping. Like I think right after the Migos came out. I think you have other people that rap in like, there's common rap styles, and so this one, it was just so much different, and it was so like, I felt like it was more poetic in the way it was delivered, and the stuff I was saying, it was just kind of like super dope to me. So I was just like, yeah, since that's that one, I'm just gonna call it Black Pill instead of blue or red pill. I was trying to play with that, and I was like, no, I'm just call it Black Pill because I'm talking about black knowledge and black this and black that. So I'll call it Black Pill, and then we're going down a rabbit hole. So Black Pill Rabbit Hole.
Yeah. And I can say, man, yeah, just for everybody listening to Redheads, this album is full of straight content. The lyrics are there. The production helps bring out the lyrics, I say. And definitely, I'm just overall fan of the content and the structure. Like I said, I haven't got a chance to listen to the full thing, but the majority of the songs I heard, every song feels like they fit in their own way. And we were going all day pretty much talking about it because it's a lot to break down. We probably have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, and I want to touch on this last thing. When you said direct to the consumer as far as selling your music, how has that process been? And do you encourage everybody to do it versus putting your stuff on streaming platforms?
I'm kind of I'm under the notion that like, okay, so a big thing that I hear nowadays is like you should know your worth or whatever, and so with that, I'm not too big of I feel like you also gotta put in your work, or like there's a certain time period. Like I listen to a lot of comedians, and one of the comedians I listened to, he's saying how Seinfeld told him, like, what did he say? He said the amount of years that you've been doing the amount of years that you've been doing comedy. This is Godfrey. You probably know Godfrey, right? The comedian.
Yeah.
So he was saying that Seinfeld told him, because like he met him like maybe a few years into his comedy or whatever, and he thought he was, he thought he was like the hottest or whatever. Godfrey thought, he was really coming up. And Seinfeld just kind of told him like, oh, how long you been doing it? He said like, oh, 3 years. And he said, well, that's your age in comedy, so you're a 3-year-old right now, So with that being said, I feel like you do got to put in you kind of got to put in the work, and you got to be kind of skilled at it.
Gotcha.
First and foremost, because I just don't want to say, yeah, you should go direct to the consumer. And now you got 10 billion people like, you know what? Forget SoundCloud, forget Spotify, forget all that. I just started making music 2 months ago, and now I'm trying to charge $10 because now the people that have been in it and have been doing it, now that's going to be less money available for them because everybody's spending their money. They spend $10 with you. Now let's say the CD's whack. They're going to be like, well, I don't want to spend it with this other person because their CD might be whack too. Right. So I do want to get that just whatever you call that, a disclaimer. Mm-hmm. But as far as direct to, once you're ready, once you're at a certain level and you feel like you got an actual project that's there, I'm gonna keep it real. Like, this is probably the most money I've made off of any project because number one, it's $30 a piece, and people might be like, that's a lot. But the way I break it down is like, I'm skilled. I could write. I got wordplay. I got conscious stuff. I got stuff people never seen before. It's got the front cover, the back cover. I had to pay for photo shoots, all this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so when you look at like a person that paints pictures, they might charge $800, $300 for one picture that they drew. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And mine is so intricate. It's like, I got to record. I got to mix it down. I got to add a little echo right here that sounds, so I'm painting a very elaborate picture. You know what I'm saying? I got to put my words right so that you can understand. And not only that, I also got to put the words right so that the information I'm trying to share gets across right. And everything like that. I got to deliver the words at a certain tone and, on a certain beat, and I got to choose the right beat. So there's a lot that goes into that. So what I put out is I put out a lot of masterpieces, but this one right here, it's like, I got to charge at least $30 for this. So I'm charging $30 per album. I say direct to me. And so even off of, I think I've only gotten, and I don't really care about sharing my information like that. It's whatever. So I know some people be like, man, you shouldn't share how much you making. But I really don't care because I'm just going to give you the number so you guys can see realistically. So I just made maybe another purchase a couple days ago. I think I'm at 10 albums I've sold. So it's like $300. Now the amount of money I've put into this is probably well over, it's thousands and thousands. But I'm saying when you look at the revenue that has come in, I've gotten a little bit of money off of like Spotify and those other stores, for my past albums. But it'd be like total of $70, maybe $50, sold out of albums sold and everything. And then out of streams, some people just stream the whole thing and then that's it, so I don't really get paid too much off of that. And so really I'm putting in a whole lot of money. And so off of these last 2 weeks that the album's been out, if I sold 10 of them, I've made $300. That's the most money I've made off of any album that I've put out. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's well deserved anyway, though. Like I said, I'm still way up here on the money I spent versus the money I made. But either way, I still feel appreciative for everybody that's bought an album so far.
Absolutely. I want you to keep that going because that's something Nipsey Hussle did, RIP. Back a few years ago, he sold his album $100 a pop. I think it was called Mailbox Money or something like that. But he did that. People recognized it and it made them feel like something was worth it. Wu-Tang was trying to do something similar. Like, hey, we recorded this album.
I saw that too.
And we selling it for like $1 million. So that's dope, man. But yeah.
That one guy bought it though. I just want to mention that one. He's like a white businessman, hacker dude or something, IT dude. I don't know.
I forgot his name, but he actually did that and it worked. So thank you for sharing that information on it, man. Like I said, man, dope project. I got to watch it. I mean, I got to go back and listen to more songs on there, but it inspires me as an artist as well. But yeah, man, where can people follow you?
So you can follow me on pretty much everything under either Midwest Matthew or The Midwest Matthew. A lot of them are going to be The Midwest Matthew, but Midwest Matthew will do. Can I shout out my Cash App stuff and everything? Okay, so if you want to buy the album, go ahead, Cash App me at the Midwest Matt or $ the Midwest Matthew. And it message me though too, and let me know that you bought it, because I don't think I can reply on Cash App or whatever. So if you're gonna send me the money, just message me on one of my social media platforms or whatever, preferably Instagram, because that's what I, talk through the most and connect with people through the most. Just say, yeah, I want to buy your album, whatever. Here's your 30 or whatever. Send that to me. Once I get it, I'll send you a link. It's through Mediafire. It's got all the songs on it. It's 24 songs plus the long intro at the beginning that explains everything.
Definitely. And they got the album cover, y'all, and they got the back cover to it too.
Yes.
Yeah, and it feels like you actually have a piece of art. So salute to Midwest Matthew, y'all.
Yes,
again,
Red Heads.
Yeah, Redheads. Make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/We Authentic Network. You already know where to follow me at JAYR3D. Also, I just put out an EP with my homeboy Sean Shice D. And if you see this shirt right here, it's a new shirt. We got the Ryan.
Oh, that's you.
Shirt. Yeah. We got this out now. Limited edition, limited availability. So if y'all want to get it, buy it up, go to redsview.com, and also stream the EP as well. But yeah,
that's
man.
Hard.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was you this whole time. I thought that was just, I glanced at it, but I thought it was the Street Fighter people. I didn't recognize that was you.
Yeah, black character.
High top fade and everything.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. But yeah, man, y'all, but it ain't about me, it's about Midwest Matthew. Like I said, man, y'all make sure y'all support this brother. I really love his grind. Independence, that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, man, shout out to you. This is J Red, Midwest Matthew, and we are signing out.
All right, appreciate it, bro.
Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, give up. Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, give up. Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, give up. Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, give up.
I know you got doubts, but get to the bag. Just follow the dream and stick with the plan. I know you get worried,